So on our channel, we do not talk much about the Volkswagen Tiguan, but you know what? Maybe it's time to change that. This is, of course, the new 2026 Tiguan SEL R-Line Turbo. Yeah, that name's a mouthful. And it's kind of funny that they call it a turbo. It actually has a badge in the back that says that, considering the previous one was also a turbo. This is just a higher output turbo at this trim level. Here it produces a peak 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, you gain 67 horsepower over the standard Tiguan's 2-liter turbo. The transmission is an automatic 8-speed and power goes to all 4 wheels through a clutch-based all-wheel drive system. Though you can get 2-wheel drive on lower trims, this SEL R-Line Turbo is only available with all-wheel drive. EPA rates economy at 22 miles to the gallon in town and 29 on the highway. That is a little on the low side, but in the ballpark for the class. This new Tiguan also managed to shed some weight. That improves handling, braking, and acceleration before you even get to the higher output engine. This loaded trim with no extra options is priced at $44,560 including destination. So it has more power, less weight, and it's actually priced less than most new car sales in the US. So far on paper, this one is looking pretty good. On the outside, you'll probably notice right away the similarity between this Volkswagen and its cousin, the Audi Q3, which we tested recently. Even under the skin, they do share similar engines and all-wheel drive systems, though tuning and the transmission designs are of course quite different. It may not say Audi on the outside, but when you look inside, you'll see that this one actually has quite a few luxury touches, including a large 15-inch central display, digital gauge cluster, and power-adjustable quilted leather seats with heating, ventilation, and massage built in. This trim also comes with Harman Kardon premium sound, heated steering wheel, wireless device charging, and a panorama moonroof. You can even remote start with the included key fob. See? In the back, we get 69.8 cubic feet of cargo capacity with the rows folded flat. Under the floor, a spare tire that is a temporary. There's also a subwoofer back there in the middle of it, part of the upgraded sound system. And then over here, we have 12-volt power. And over there, we get a little LED light. I especially like that we have the easy pull seat levers to lower that second row. But now the real question, can you sleep in it? The floor is nice and flat. I'm 6'1", and if I'm angled, I fit. If I'm going straight, I'll have to curl up a little bit, but it's really not bad. Okay, this is nice. I got lots of leg room. This is where I would be seated if I were driving. I'm 6'1", legs torso proportionate, and I have tons of leg room here. Also have plenty of headroom. In the middle, we get fold-down armrests with integrated cup holders. Down here, we get our own climate controls. That's nice. 2 USB-C sockets, and then even heated seats in the outboard positions. Up front here, we get a very near luxury experience. In fact, I don't know, you might actually call this straight up luxury. We have a leather-wrapped steering wheel that is nicely contoured, feels great. It is adjustable. We also have, of course, quilted leather seats. Now these have a ton of adjustments, like everything you can imagine. We have 3 different memory positions, and they even have massage in a vehicle less than $50,000. I don't know if that's unheard of, but it's pretty rare. In the middle, we get a digital gauge cluster that has a couple of different views, which is nice. And then, of course, you can customize the sections. Now, up here is the coup de grace. This is a 15-inch, it's bigger than the one in my Tacoma, digital display. And they, of course, pack a ton of stuff on here. You do get climate controls on the bottom, which I don't love, but at least they're easy to get to and they're not buried in menus. We also have, of course, a home screen, which has some data, what the XM satellite radio is currently tuned into, and then we also get maps. Let's try searching in maps. Find the nearest coffee shop. How smart is it?
Search for cafe in the vicinity. Please select a POI from the list.
Yeah, as usual, it's telling me to go to an island that's over there. It would take me an hour and 40 minutes to drive there. but it's 7 miles as the crow flies. And that's absurd. Okay, let's try another search. Navigate to Madrona Cafe.
Sorry, I can't do that yet.
What do you mean you can't? Find the nearest Starbucks.
Sorry, I can't do that yet.
What do you mean you can't do that yet? That's the simplest thing for a modern system to do. Oh, of course, it's transcribing that. Thanks, guys. Okay. Voice commands, it's detecting what I'm saying, but it's just not understanding what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of annoying, actually. Okay, so we get lots of configuration options up here, which is great. You can control the lighting experience that you get. I can control the seats, vehicle setup. You can do the assist systems. This, of course, is loaded with the latest in advanced tech. Plus, we also get drive modes up here, Eco, Comfort, Sport, Custom. There's also a specific click for off-road because, yes, there's an off-road display, which shows steering angle and also gives me the option of turning off traction control and also turning on hill descent control. We will play with those items a little bit later. And yes, to control the transmission, it's a little knobby thing off of the steering column. Don't love that, but it does free up the area down here, so there is a purpose for it, I guess. We have this really cool integration of a tiny screen inside the volume. That's kind of neat. I like that. Ooh, and when you click it, it toggles between drive modes and volume. Okay, I really like that, actually. More people should do that. And then down here, we have a slot for charging a mobile device, kind of a weird vertical position to put it in. Got a couple more USB-C sockets down there as well. Okay, well, let's hit the street. We'll see how this drives. And then we're going to bring it back here to our Peninsula Proving Grounds to see just how good the all-wheel drive system is. Not bad on gravel, actually. Punch it. It's not bad. So we're going to kick off the driving portion with a 0 to 60 launch. See how quick this new motor setup is. Complete stop, and I'm in sport mode down here. 3, 2, 1, punch it. It's a little slow off the line. Oh, but then the power kicks in, and 67.45 seconds. Not terribly fast, especially keeping in mind we just did the new Toyota RAV4 GR Sport, and that was just over 5 seconds. But that one is, of course, special. The new Audi Q3, which we reviewed recently, and this new Volkswagen Tiguan do share a lot of parts under the skin. Specifically, it is based on the same chassis. But that doesn't mean that they drive the same. And that is actually, I think, my biggest issue with this vehicle, the way that the suspension tuning is set up. I feel like the rear suspension actually is pretty good. It feels like rear suspension should feel. But the front, I think it's too soft. And for me, it doesn't really give confidence in the handling of this vehicle. I actually like sitting behind the driver's seat. I have these really nice massage units, which a Tiguan with massage units? Who would thought that would ever be a thing? We have this really nice, light, and airy interior thanks to the panorama sunroof. And then the gauge cluster has really nice graphics, and it's very visible both in shadow as well as in direct sun. I always get the question when it's not, completely covered, can you see these digital displays in direct sun? And yeah, you can. I've never actually used one where that's been an issue. The one thing that I think is a little silly is this huge 15-inch display. And then it also looks a little cartoony because they just use so many colors. And it's really odd when they allow you to set up your own color preferences and none of them look good. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my little selector here. And you can see all the colors they have are super bright. And it also affects the background as well, too. So I just want gray on gray for my menu items. And I can't even do that, which I find to be kind of weird. Like, why don't you just give me gray? Give me something subtle. I don't need everything to be like yelling at me. Instead, I'm going to settle on purple here, which is lounge. And now we have purple surround. We have a purple background in the gauge cluster. Something that I always do on Toyotas is I switch from their bright white background to a blackout background, a dark mode. I don't see that anywhere in this system. If you own one of these and there is a dark mode, please post a comment below because I can't find that setting. Okay, let's talk about the rest here. We have nice materials overall. I like the wood inlay up there. That actually looks really nice. The steering wheel is a little too much tilt, and I don't mean it's too high. That's a totally different thing. As I tilt it up or down, the wheel itself is tilted like this, more so than I like. I just find that kind of a little odd. And without saying anything, I let my wife drive this, and the first thing she said is, "Can we untilt this wheel?" And I'm like, "No, you can't. You can move it up and down, and it does slightly change the angle, but all the angles, the wheel is tilted back a little bit." Not sure why they did that. So there are some unusual design decisions in this interior, but overall the effect is very comfortable. These seats feel fantastic, by the way, and just hanging out in this place is really nice. This has 3 different types of cruise control. Travel Assist is the most comprehensive, which allows for lane centering. Let's go ahead and hit go. When the wheel goes green, it should be tracking down the middle, which is doing a great job. I'll take my hands off just so you can see what it's doing. This is a hands-on system, though. There is no hands-off option here. It's even telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. Overall, this does a very good job with your typical lane centering setup. I also like that you have 3 different easily selectable driver assistance modes. The Travel Assist, which has the lane centering, ACC, which is just adaptive cruise, and then of course your standard cruise control, which does not have adaptive. You kind of want to turn that on if you're in like conditions where, let's just say you go through some snow and there's snow built up on the sensors. You can't use adaptive in those settings. Instead, you can switch to standard cruise control. This does, of course, have a variety of different drive modes. Mostly what they do is they'll adjust the throttle pedals so that you can be more or less aggressive. But then it also, of course, has snow and off-road. Snow gives you easier starts in slippery conditions. Off-road, though, that will actually use the clutch-based all-wheel drive system to shift power around more aggressively. It's not something you really want to do like in a parking lot, but if you are going through a trail and you need to shift that power around, that's the setting you want to use. So we're now going to take this back to our Peninsula Proving Grounds, where we're going to put it to the test and see just how good this system is. Now we're going to test this new Volkswagen Tiguan on our easy off-road course. To set this up, I am just going to toggle down here from comfort or sport to the off-road mode. Select that. What's happening under the skin here is that it now knows that if it spins a wheel, it's going to clamp down on that wheel, which will then shift power back into the system. We also have a surround view camera system here. How can I easily bring that up? Great. Where's my surround view camera? So we have a full surround view camera. I know this because if I go into reverse, there's the full surround view camera. But when I'm in drive, if I go in reverse and then into drive, it turns it on. Will it leave it on? Probably not. Let's just see. The entry into our easy course here usually will scrape if the vehicle has less than 8 inches of ground clearance. Now with this one, it has 7. So let's listen for the grind. Ooh, we need to turn those parking sensors off because that's annoying. Funny thing about when you have a surround view camera system and you put it on a really big 15-inch display, you can see just how bad, like poor and low res the camera systems really are. Hey, wait a second. We didn't grind at all on that entry. Maybe there's sandbag in here. Okay, well, let's continue on with the test. Getting dark in the forest. Try to lift the tire, and then when that tire lifts, you're going to look for power shifting from one side to the other using brake vectoring. Camera system, it does an okay job. So now here lifting a wheel, I'm just keeping throttle easy on it. You don't want to get too aggressive, otherwise you can lurch forward, and that's when you start braking things. Okay, no problem. It clamped down on that spinning wheel and moved us forward just like it's supposed to. Good job so far. Add a little throttle, up and out. There we go. Wow, it's actually really aggressive. Okay, we're going to use the camera to go as deep as we can into the hole near the stump. And then we got to climb out. Ooh, that's really picking up a wheel there. Very rigid chassis. Just add throttle, let it do the work. We're not using momentum here. We're letting the vehicle lift us up and out. Nice. Now let's move on to the next test. Hill descent control. So we're going to go over here, driving dynamics. Want to make sure hill descent control is turned on. It's purple there, so we're good. It'll then take the speed at which we approach and then ease us down the hill. I don't have to have my foot on the brake or anything. Let's see how this does. And drive. Basically a slow approach. Ooh, ooh, little teetery. Then I basically let go and let it ease me down. Smooth. Oh, you know what? That is excellent. Let's turn that off. It's the same system in the Audi in that it grabs your brakes, but then also almost brings you to complete stop and then eases you forward. So, like, I didn't have to do anything there. It just did it for me, and it did it the way I would have done it. Most of these systems just basically put you at 3 miles per hour and roll you down the hill. This one, it definitely seemed to detect what was going on, and it was much smarter about its approach. Okay, well, that was excellent. Let's continue on with the moguls. Can't believe Audi let them have the same hill descent control system. That's awesome. This test is basically the same as what we just did in the Fun Forest, but here things are a little bit deeper and more challenging. Also, we are going to check that front bumper clearance because some vehicles do scrape here. Back into drive. Can turn HDTC off, don't need that. Oh yeah, I want my front camera on, but so far, reverse and drive is the only way to do it. We're putting front passenger wheel in the hole, lifting up, that should be easy, no problem. Got parking sensor. Now we're gonna go into the deepest hole, really lift that driver's side rear there. Oh yeah. And I'm just gonna ease it down slowly because we don't want to hit too hard. Boof, there we go. Okay, no problem so far. Oh, interesting. So as soon as the parking sensors detect something, then it gives me an option of popping up the camera. Would like just be able to turn on that camera. Anyway, next test here, we have sand slide. So in this one, we're gonna go up more of a tilt, which will really lift that back tire. It's a little bit more of a climb. A little sideways slide because of course these are street tires, not all terrains. Yeah, there we go. That power shift is actually really, really good in this vehicle. Does an excellent job. Again, we're just gonna do this slowly because we don't want it to go down too quick. Nice. Okay, well, I'm thoroughly impressed actually with this new Tiguan. So there are some little rough edges that I think need sorting out here. The front suspension, I do not particularly care for on this vehicle. Going through corners, it just feels a little too mushy. Off-road, it does feel pretty good, and especially that power shift with the Borg-Warner Haldex all-wheel drive system, it has a good ability to shift power to the back and side to side as needed. Plus that hill descent control is honestly class leading. So overall, really, really like this new Tiguan. If you've been sleeping on this one, maybe it is something you should consider for your next compact crossover. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share videos. We make them for you. I hope you enjoy them, and we'll see you again right here on the next one.